Cabral and Mike Gibberti will be on the men's truck watching the leaders here throughout the race for the 38th annual New Bedford Half Marathon. Mike, let's talk about some of the favorites coming into today's race.
Well, coming into today, we've got four guys who could be towards the top. The Central Mass Striders, Dan Vassallo, as the Philly Marathon champ from this past year. He'll be looking to take the win, along with Matt Pelletier, a new Brooks athlete who also ran an Olympic trials qualifier in the marathon in 2014. Nate Jenkins, he's registered, but I haven't seen him yet. If he shows up, he'll definitely be towards the top. He ran a 2:14.56 in the 2008 Olympic trials marathon and is looking to make that return. So he's using this as a nice tune-up. And then former Boston College athlete Louis Serafini, guy's real fit and ready to go. He was third 2 weeks ago at the Jones 10-miler, so he'll be looking to make a shot at the victory as well.
Mike, often races like these have last-minute entries. We're hearing of one today that could pose a threat to the leaders.
Yes, definitely. Brian Doyle is a Providence College athlete who just ran out of his eligibility. He ran 29:40 on the track, and the guy's looking pretty fit according to what he ran indoors this past winter. So he definitely, if he could turn that indoor track stuff into the half marathon, then he'll definitely be looking for the win.
Joe Cabral and Mike Gibberti will be on the men's truck throughout the race today.
We are moments away from the start of the half marathon here in New Bedford at the 38th annual. Chris Santos and Jim Dandino will bring you all the women's action live on our truck. And Jim, so far so good as the weather seems to be cooperating.
Absolutely. A little bit windy, but we expect a good day. Hopefully the times are good, competitive race. That's what we fully expect today.
We'll have all the action for you right here on New Bedford Cable Network.
And we prepare for the 38th annual New Bedford Half Marathon. Dan McCarthy's with us from the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick. How many years now, Dan, has Friendly Sons been involved?
So this will be our 7th race, so 6 years. 2009 was our first year as the host of the New Bedford Half Marathon.
Has this been the most challenging year to get ready?
This has been, it's a labor of love for all the volunteers. So challenging isn't the word we want to use. But we have an amazing support network here in the city. Mayor John Mitchell came to us and said, we're going to put this race on. All over New England, races are canceling, but from the administration down to every single city worker who helped, they understood what this means for the city. And knowing that we had that backing, we knew we were going to make it through.
You expect a bigger turnout because other races have been canceled?
We extended registration, but unfortunately, because of the other cancellations, a lot of people wanted to wait and see what was going to happen. So I do know that we've had several hundred people sign up today, but we thought we would have even more than that, which we were welcomed for. We were ready and prepared for. But the news was saying we were going to have, possibly 10 inches of snow today. But our good friend, we lost a great member of the club, Sean Toomey. He must be looking down on us today because we have a beautiful day here in New Bedford, a perfect day for running, and the city looks beautiful.
This is probably my 16th half marathon, but my first one in 22 years.
Why are you here? What made you want to run again?
Well, I'm training for Boston, and I usually do this for workout, which I've done in the past, so that's why I'm here.
Hi, my name is Terry. I've been volunteering for this road race for 3 years now, thanks to the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick who got me involved. And basically, I consider this part of what I can give back to the community, also to let people who not only live here, but those who come from out of town get to see the beauty of New Bedford, the beaches, the architecture, and just how much the people here have to offer and how friendly we all are.
I want to introduce you to the South Coast Health System's first aid station, mainly St. Luke's site. Yay! We've been doing this for about 26 years, and I'd like to introduce you to our co-leaders, Laurie, Dr. Bivens. These are all our staff members and their kids. and we're going to have a wonderful time. Hopefully we're going to have a good day. Here's to South Coast Health System and the New Bedford Cable Network.
Good morning, I'm Ken Johnson.
And I'm Caitlin Germano.
We are ready to have some fun in New Bedford Half. We're here for spinal muscular atrophy, part of Team Owen, and we are going to do our best to raise awareness. We raised over $100,000 in the past 4 years, and doing our best to raise some more for this year.
Tell me about the unique outfit.
Unique outfit? Let's see. I think that was it your idea, Caitlin?
No, it wasn't. It was Lori Ann's, I believe, and just another way to start spreading awareness. We love to see people shouting and cheering for us as we go along the route. So this is a very exciting race for us.
Is Lori Ann wearing costume too?
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, she's out that way somewhere, and you know, I was like, why not wear a tutu? Why not?
More and more every year, we keep spreading the tutus as well, so go Team Owen.
All in a good time.
We're with New Bedford Mayor John Mitchell as we get ready for the start of the 38th annual road race. Now, how many years have you been mayor during the race?
Well, I guess this is my fourth year as mayor presiding over the race, Pete, and you know, it's still going. It's going great. It's getting better every year. We have this year about the same number of runners as last year, despite the really bad weather conditions in the last several weeks that we're all familiar with now. Our city crews have done a fantastic job filling in all the potholes, and they've in the process saved thousands of ankles. Our police do a wonderful job securing the race. It's an enclosed race, which means that there are lots of streets that they have to block off, and it requires lots of manpower, lots of coordination. But they've really gotten it down to a science and do it really well. And it's just a very exciting opportunity for New Bedford to showcase itself. You have all these people, who most of whom are from out of town, who come here and spend some money in our shops and restaurants, but even more importantly, get a glimpse of all the great things that are going on in New Bedford, and are able to spread the word, to spread the gospel of New Bedford. And we get nothing but positive reactions from people year in and year out at how well the race is supported by the community, the great volunteer corps that's here, the work of the city employees. So it's all very positive. And you know, with every year, the word continues to spread about New Bedford's progress, and for that, I'm really grateful.
And what can you say about the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick and working with them?
Yeah, so about 5 or 6 years ago, they took a chance. They decided to take over the race from the New Bedford Track Club, Greater New Bedford Track Club, and you know, it wasn't something that a club like the Friendly Sons had ever done, and they did. They really stepped up for the community to keep this great event going, and it's only gotten better. So they deserve tremendous credit. Dan McCarthy and all the volunteers, of which there are many, have made it into a race that we can all be proud of.
All right, well, I know you've got to go and participate in the start of this race, so Mayor, thank you very much, and let's have a great day.
Thanks a lot, Pete. Appreciate it. Listen, I know there are a lot of very avid runners in this crowd, and you know that there are a lot of other communities in this state that decided not to go forward this year. But I'm here to tell you, it ain't that way in New Bedford. In the last 2 weeks, it took a tremendous amount of work from our volunteer corps led by Dan McCarthy and the Friendly Sons, the Department of Public Infrastructure, who literally filled thousands of potholes along the race route, so your ankles are going to be safe today. Our police department it will be out there and enforce this as a secure route as you will find anywhere in America. And you will see a community that will come out in droves today to support you. It's going to be a great race. Thank you for coming to New Bedford. Have a wonderful time today, and then wherever you have stashed your wallets away, make sure you break them out and spend them on our local businesses today. We'd love your support. Thank you, and are you ready? All right, listen to the gun. Set.
The New Bedford Road Race underway. Joe Cabral and Mike Gioberti in the men's truck, the lead truck. Mike, right out of the gate, what are we seeing?
Well, we've got Louis Serafini taking out the pace in that black singlet with the heart on it, and Matt Pelletier and Brian Doyle right behind him. So those three are looking to break pace open pretty quick. We'll see what they come through the first few miles in a little bit.
Mike, temperature right around 38 degrees, start of the race, wind about 12 miles an hour, gusting up to about 20 miles per hour. Does that favor any particular style of runner?
Well, really, speaking from my perspective, some guys will favor the cold a little more than the heat. So those guys that have been training throughout this tough winter, going out on, not minding the snow and cold, going out on their 20-mile long runs, especially the guys training for Boston or any other marathon in 10 degrees and snowing, they're more used to it than the guys like myself who would be on the treadmill all winter and could probably benefit better in that first warm day of spring. So definitely the guys who are used to the cold are going to be better off today.
And the wind definitely picking up here, Mike, as we head into more open spaces early in this race.
Yes, it is definitely going to be like that. I did a long run on the course earlier, and there's going to be a good stretch, from right after the big hill at mile 3.5. There's going to be a stretch with the winds at your back, and they'll be dropping real fast splits. But then once you get around the peninsula at mile 10, once it starts to get on the beach, then it's going to be a tough finish. It's going to be a drag for that finish.
And Mike, we're seeing here right again at the start, wind in the runner's face.
Yes. Well, it is early, so I guess it's all about the pace that they decide to control. And they could go out quick, they could go out slow. It's really about whoever crosses the finish line first is the New England champ. So
about 2.5 minutes into the 38th annual New Bedford Half Marathon, Joe Cabral and Mike Gibberti on the men's truck, watching the early leaders here. Mike, before we go any further, let's talk about some of the Masters contenders here today. We won't see them very often throughout the race, but here early on, let's talk about some of the Masters we have entered into today's race.
Yes, the Boston Athletic Association has three of the top Masters, far and beyond three of the top Masters in New England. And they went 1, 2, 3 at the Club New England Cross Country Championships. All three of them are entered today. Their names are Mike Galoob out of Peacedale, Rhode Island, Chris McGill, also out of Rhode Island and Cumberland, and then Pete Hammer, who is one of their close teammates for the Boston Athletic Association.
Mike, with these type of conditions, what type of time should we expect?
I doubt we'll see a course record, but these guys are still going to be looking to punch in some fast results. The winner last year was right around 66 minutes and 10 seconds or so. The winner today could be similar to that, 65, 66 minutes. Possibly, if someone really wants to take it out fast and hit that Olympic trials qualification, they're going to need to get under 65. For the men's standard is 65 minutes.
Just passing Hazard Street here in the city of New Bedford. Early on, the 38th annual New Bedford Half Marathon. Joe Cabral and Mike Gibberti in the men's lead truck.
It's looking like a pretty honest clip for the leaders. And it's still, Louis Serafini taking the lead with Pelletier and Doyle right behind. And in that chase pack, I see Dan Vassallo a little further back. He was the Philly Marathon champ this past year in 2:17:28. Was his Olympic trials qualifier.
Let's go back to the start line where Pete Braley and Eric Narcisi are calling the action.
Well, good morning. It's Pete Braley along with Eric Narcisi, and we're here at the starting line for today's Greater New Bedford Half Marathon, 38th annual New Bedford Half Marathon. Eric joins us this year to commentate, and now you're a runner yourself?
I am. I try in my spare time.
Now, why are you not running this race?
I just keep getting sick. I kind of blame the MBTA for my did not start today.
The kind of winter they've had, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the race. Now, you've run this race before.
Yeah, I've done it maybe like 4 times over the last 10 years.
Okay. And it draws runners from all over, doesn't it?
Yeah, the timing of it makes it the perfect tune-up for anyone who's going to do Boston, and even not just Boston, but a lot of other spring marathons. It falls in that sweet spot there, just as the weather's starting to break. You know, this is a balmy day compared to some of the other ones we've had in the last few weeks. So,
after, 2 blizzards and feet of snow, the course is actually in pretty good shape. I drove it yesterday. I joked around I was going to run it, but it was raining. But I drove it yesterday. The city's done a great job with the potholes. Tell me, now, a lot of the focus is on the winner. You know, people focus on who's coming in first. But what's it like? There are so many people that just run this race because it's a goal, maybe something they've always wanted to do. Can you help us understand about the local runner? There's a lot of people from New Bedford that run.
Well, this race is pretty unique in that it's so widely supported by the community. So for the people that live around here or even like run on these streets, it's quite the experience to almost feel like you own the streets. Have everything shut down for you. You get support, the water stations, the crowd, the police on detail, all the volunteers. You feel like everybody's out there for you at times. And it's the perfect setup for you to go out there and just run your best, see if all that training through all those blizzards and the tough winter months paid off, and really test your fitness.
All right, well, Eric is going to take us through the course in just a few minutes as our coverage continues of the New Bedford Half Marathon.
Louis Serafini continuing to lead here, headed toward the 3rd mile marker. Joe Cabral and Mike Gibberti calling the action from the men's lead truck about 11 minutes into today's race, so still lots of race ahead. Glad you've joined us on the New Bedford Cable Network for the 38th annual New Bedford Half Marathon. We're passing Nossage Street at this point. Let's check in with the women's truck, and we have Chris Santos along with Jim Dandino. Chris?
Well, yeah, we expected Hillary Dion to be out in front. We expect her to be running the pace about 5:40 pace per mile, so she should be coming along pretty soon.
Sure. Did you see a group of Pat coming up?
Yeah. And she'll be easy to point out. She's in one of the yellow singlets, the Boston Athletic Association singlets. We'll be able to see her. And
we expect to at least contend with her today.
Yeah, I really don't expect anyone to contend. We expect her to win by a couple of minutes, actually.
Oh, really?
There are a few women from New England. We fully expect her to win by quite a bit, but there are a few women out there that could give us some trouble if she's having a really bad day. But yeah, that's Hillary right there in the tights, there in the back of the pack. On the blue guy, yeah. So she's right in the back. She's in the back of this pack here. Yep. That's Hillary Dion, who we expected to be out in front in the women's race. She's a Dartmouth College graduate who lives in Cambridge, Massachusetts. She was the victor here in 2012.
Well, you see it right here on our right, as Ethan will pick her up, and 23-26 is her number in the back of the pack. Looks like she's got a little company there, Jim.
Yeah, she does. She's running alongside some Masters runners, Kevin O'Neill, and she's running in front of, he's an accomplished Master runner. He's 45 years old, and they know each other very well, so he's not pacing her, believe me, but she is lucky that she has someone to run behind in these windy conditions here.
Right. I think that will definitely help her. And Jim, how big of an effect is that with her being in a men's group, knowing some people, gives a little bit of extra confidence?
Yeah, it definitely gives you more confidence knowing some of the athletes and what they can do, and knowing the pace that they're running as well. So that definitely is a benefit for her. And she's so experienced anyway. I mean, she's run this race a few times. She knows the course. Was the victor here in 2012. Last year she was 3rd, and she ran 1:14:52 last year. So knowing the course and having run here a few times is definitely beneficial.
Well, no one to contend with her right now as we look back at the pack as she's gone by us. And we see it going.
Yeah, she's got quite a lead here. I mean, I would imagine she's got, it looks like about, we can't even see the lead, the second place woman at this point. So even here we are, 2.5 miles into the race. I mean, she probably has a 30 to 45 second lead already.
Wow.
That's not unexpected, though.
Back at the start-finish line for the New Bedford Half Marathon, Pete Braley with Eric Narcissi. Eric, let's talk about the course. Let's take people through it. The race begins, and everybody's kind of all jammed up here in a big corral, but they don't have to rush to cross the finish line, right, because of those chips they have on their shoes?
Yep, they have the chips in the shoes, which is a stark contrast compared to 30 years ago when the people at the way back probably had it, 10 minutes to their time. Right. And so it made it a little unfair, but now the people
clock
at the
doesn't
back
start till you cross the line.
Exactly.
Right. And then you take off and you head down the course, and then you're headed down towards the old Jamavo's auto sales. And your first challenge comes up on Hathaway Road, correct?
Yeah, about mile 3. There's a hill there. A lot of people talk about the hill at the end, but the hill at mile 3 it's tougher. It's just since it's earlier in the race, you're fresher, you get a chance to recover afterwards. So, but for everybody who's focusing on that one at the end, that one at mile 3 can be a real surprise.
Then you take the S-curves. You're on Rockdale Avenue, going by Buttonwood Park, which is a pretty flat, pretty flat course, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's a nice flat stretch. The wind typically isn't too bad over there, and with the way the course is set up, that's around mile 5. And you can pretty much take a straight shot from up here. So a lot of the friends, family, supporters that are out there, they'll run up to that point to check out the runners. So it ends up being kind of a hot spot for support, if you will.
Just head up Union Street, yeah. So then you get down towards the south end, and that's where the wind comes into play, right out on the peninsula?
Mm-hmm, the infamous wind.
Can it be help in one direction and hurt you in the other direction? Because you do go out and then come back.
You do. But there's something funny about the wind down there. It seems like no matter what, it's in your face. There's some vortex going on. I don't know what it is, but it can really almost break your will at times.
Eric Narcissi, who has run this course and takes us through it this morning. Thank you so much. We'll be back with more in just a bit.
We're back, Joe Cabral and Mike Gibberti in the lead truck, and we have a move on Louis Zerafini. It's Sam Morse out of Camden, New Jersey, Mike.
Yes, he has been working his way up since about the 2.5 mile mark, and it seems like he has closed that gap and is running on Louis' shoulder. Seems like he wants him to push the pace a little bit and is just going to kind of let him do the work and just sit back, run on his shoulder. Maybe draft off of him a little bit based on the direction the wind is blowing. It's a common tactic that runners use, especially in these longer races.
Sam Morse, Camden, New York, they're telling us now. 1861, challenging Louis Zerafini as we've passed the 4 mile mark. First real challenge on Louis since the start of the race here today, and Morse, as you mentioned, Mike, really shoulder to shoulder with Serafini now, but not passing him, letting him do the work.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to maybe work with each other a little bit. I know Louis is new to the marathon. I don't have much of a racing history on Sam, considering he's from New York. But you never know with these guys. I'm assuming he looks pretty strong right now, and so does Louis, and they were just kind of tag teaming. So they're probably just looking to work together at this point. And you got Matt Pelletier and Brian Doyle running 3rd and 4th. Still that 60-meter gap back. And I'm sure they're trying to work together to get their way up with these leaders.
Yeah, it's been Pelletier and Doyle following Zerafini throughout today's race, but now we've added in Sam Morse out of Camden. He's on the shoulder of Zerafini, and in that second group, now about 60 meters back, as Mike mentioned, it's Matt Pelletier and Brian Doyle. Let's check in with the women's truck, and we have Chris Santos along with Jim Dandino. Chris?
Ethan Lopez on our truck, and the women's Sue Richards doing the videotaping for the men's truck. Dan Cabral and Anne-Marie Lopes downtown. She's still staying with Kevin, is that right?
Yeah, that's Kevin O'Neill, yep. He's a master, and Jason Riley right on the left. Actually, what's interesting is she's running alongside her Boston Athletic Association teammate, and she actually graduated from high school with one of the gentlemen she's running with. His name is Jason Riley.
Okay.
So they both graduated from Cumberland High School back in, she graduated 12 years ago. So 2003 they graduated from high school together. Interesting how they're running together in the race, but they were high school teammates as well. But the pace is definitely picking up here. You can definitely sense it. You know, from the 45s he was running early on, and this mile I think it's going to be substantially faster, more in the 5:35 range.
Well, you can see how flat number 1, number 2 looks like it's leaning a little bit downhill, and number 3, you got the wind behind you.
Yeah,
all 3 favorites for a runner right now. So
exactly, it looks like the sun's coming out as well. So
this is going to be for a while here, Jim, until I think they hit that, you know, ocean front near the cove, and that'll all change then a little bit.
I think so too. I think, you know, 9.5, 10 miles, especially you get by Davies Locker, well, the old Davies Locker now. That's when it really comes into your face.
That's where it's going to come in, the confidence then to have somebody pushing you and staying with you. Now, right now, her coach.
Her coach is Mike McGrain of the Boston Athletic Association. So I spoke with him this morning, and like I said, this is kind of just a tune-up.
Now, does he pick her up, like, you know, at a certain pot and just stay with her and kind of watch what she does, or he just leaves her alone and says, do your own thing?
Yeah, she got a nose in her head. I mean, they go through a, you know, obviously they discuss the race, you know, and just, you know, they obviously, you know, the morning of the race, they'll kind of go over things and look at the conditions and see how that is, and then they'll kind of get together and make sure that she's feeling okay, make sure that she takes enough fluid, just don't forget those things, how important that might, you don't want to cramp up. I mean, these kind of things that she goes over, but Mike is actually running the race as well, but believe it or not, he said he was only going to run about 1:18 today, so he's going to actually be a couple minutes behind her.
Mike, about halfway through the race now, and Sam Morse in the lead, about 2 or 3 meters ahead of Louis Zarafini, and Zarafini has refused to let Morse get away from him.
Yeah, he is. He's pushing it. They're both pushing it and running real strong. Serafini just wants to try and get as much work out of Morse as possible. Leading a race is always tough, and it takes a lot of courage. So, I mean, we'll see what happens in the end. They still got a good 10K or so of race left. About 33.5 minutes into it right now, and they're on pace for right at just under 66 minutes. We'll see if they can keep it up. Got a few more fast miles ahead of us before they get around the peninsula and the wind will start to pick up, and then they head back into town and they're running slightly uphill and into the wind. So times may or may not be the fastest, but nevertheless we've definitely got a race on our hands.
Let's check in with the women's truck, and we have Chris Santos along with Jim Dandino. Chris?
6 miles at 33:36, yep, which would project her to just under 1:14.
Okay.
She continues to look very, very solid. She's moved away from her teammate there.
And you said Ingrid's time was 1:07?
1:08:32.
Okay.
Yep. Which equates to about 5:14 a mile. She's not going to get close to that.
Right.
It was a different era. I mean, different prize structure.
Yep.
So much different. And Ingrid was obviously a world-class athlete. Hillary, as good as she is, who's qualified for the Olympic trials, which will be held February 13th in Los Angeles.
Okay.
She's already qualified for that because she has run 2:35, which is the A qualifying standard for the Olympic trials. So she'll be running there for a spot on our Olympic team. But that certainly would be a dream of hers. I mean, she'd have to probably improve 6 or 7 minutes on that time to really be in contention for that. But she certainly is one of the local one of the local elites. She's one of the top runners here in New England, especially at the marathon distance and half marathon distance.
A little chilly, but this is a great day for the runners. They're going to have the wind at their back. It's going to be a little cold in the south end, but they're going to have a great race, a great run. I'm looking forward to see the finisher cross the line in a little while. Council Winterson?
Thank you. I'd like to thank the sponsors, sponsorship of Friendly Sons of St. Patrick, of course, DPI, setting everything up, roadways, making sure everything is safe. Basically, want to have a little memory, or a dear friend of Joseph and I's, as well as the entire city, a friend of ours who unfortunately isn't here this year, Sean Patrick Toomey, a great gentleman who always contributed to this city itself, and he's greatly missed. But you know something, as Sean would want us to do, keep moving forward, and let's enjoy this whole race.
Pete, it's so good to see you, believe me, and I'm saying that for a lot of people. It's great to see you.
You know who I'm missing today is our friend Jack Peterson.
Oh, it's a sore spot for everybody. He was a tremendous professional in this particular media, and I learned so much from him just in this one day the last 25 years.
Headed toward the 8-mile mark on Cove Road now. Again, another stretch here of hill for the runners to navigate.
Yes, we finally got a team affiliation on Sam Morse, running for the Syracuse Track Club.
So Sam Morse, a late entry here, doing a fine job. He is challenging Louis Serafini. They've been shoulder to shoulder here now, Mike, for about 3 to 4 miles.
That is true, and working together is a very good way to go, especially in these longer races. Just doing any sort of work alone, it's just painful. 2 guys is always better than 1, and I know even if they were in a nationally stacked field with guys who have been in the Olympics before, dragging them along, they might even be able to run faster than they're going to run today.
I think as we get into the the 8-9 mile mark, you'll see some of the runners really tuck in behind the taller runners too, to block their wind. And Hillary's done a good job of that. She's right behind one of her teammates, Brad Mish there.
Yep.
She's right behind him as we go into the wind just for a little bit.
Sure.
we're just about to approach the 9-mile mark, and looks like Sam Morse 45:06, Serafini in 45:08. So Morse just dropped about a 4:56, 4:57 mile. Serafini also right on that 5-minute per mile clip. And see if I can get an update on Matt Pelletier. He looks like he's maybe 20 or so seconds back in 30, just crossed in somewhere around 45:25.
Let's go back to the start-finish line and Pete Braley.
And we're back here at the finish line. Pete Braley along with Eric Narcissi. And we've got some information about our leading woman at this point.
Yeah, it looks like Hilary Dion is out front. She's no stranger to front running herself. She's actually New England Runner's Female Runner of the Year from last year. She won the ING Hartford Half Marathon in a time of just over 74 minutes, which is just under that B qualifying standard for the Olympic trials for women. She's gone under 75 minutes at this race. She did that last year when she came in third. The top 2 runners from last year's race, they weren't able to make it for various reasons, so that pretty much made her the automatic favorite, and she's living up to that.
It's $1,000 for the first man and the first woman that crossed the finish line, and also there's a bonus if we set a record. It's a $2,000 bonus. The men's record is 101.58, and the women's record 108.32. Have you had a chance to look at anyone's pace to see if that's a possibility today?
The men appear to be a ways off of that. I don't think there's any chance of that record falling today. And haven't gotten a time on Hillary yet, but that would be a significant PR for her, so I think that record's safe. Those records are pretty old, so they're tough.
Pete Braley and Eric Narcissi here at the finish line awaiting the runners who will be coming in soon, and also thanks to our crews out on the trucks as we have been checking in with the men's truck and the women's truck as well.
Group on the right, up in their tents, and really rooting Hillary on for this one.
She goes by in 50:08, it looked like.
08, yep.
So she actually ran that mile in 5:34.
Wow.
So a very solid mile for her.
Sam Morse continues in the lead right at about the same pace, Mike.
Yes, he got they're still just over that 5-minute clip. He hit the 10-mile mark in 50:04. And still running very strong. Obviously the last 5K is the part that's really challenging. So we'll see what the final time is, but if he keeps cranking them out like that, he'll be right around 65:30 finishing time. But with the tough part of the course, he may be closer to that, to more like 66 minutes.
As Mike mentioned, a very difficult stretch of course here as we pass Clara Street, right along the waterfront. Wind really whipping and blowing into the runner's face at this point. Very cold, uphill stretch, not an easy part of the course at all.
After right around 11 miles, that's when you get right back into town. You got some hills that you got to deal with, and it's a grind from there straight until the last like 600 meters. When you go back, there'll be one last downhill and right to the finish.
Joe Cabral and Mike Gibberti aboard the men's truck. You're watching the 38th annual New Bedford Half Marathon on the New Bedford Cable Network. The leader, Sam Morse, and now, Mike, he's really opened up a significant lead over Louis Serafini in second place. It looks like Sam Morse's race to win.
Yeah, he's got probably, time-wise, I'm going to say probably close to a minute at this point. Serafini's starting to fall back. It looks like Pelletier is starting to swallow him up a little bit.
Yeah, you can see Pelletier making a move, and I think one of the things you see with Serafini here is his line has changed a bit, not running as straight a line, maybe a bit of a sign of fatigue, and definitely Matt Pelletier making a move on Serafini.
Pelletier definitely has the experience. Serafini's still a young guy, you know, 24, 25 years of age, but Pelletier being the seasoned veteran at these longer distances, that usually is the case. And we got a split on him of around 55.09, 55.10, right around 55.13. So starting to slow a little bit, but still maintaining great form, great stride, you know, real comfortable.
City Councilor at Large Brian Gomes, joined by Larry Finity.
Great day to be here with you, Brian. You've been here from the beginning, before you were a councilor, and since you've been a councilor, you're here every year supporting the community and supporting the organizers of the race, and we can't thank you enough and the other councilors for the work that you do, and the municipal staff in clearing up the roads. There were so many cancellations of important races this year in around New England, but New Bedford not only got this done, but did it in a good fashion. Got a tremendous course. The potholes have been filled, the snow has been removed in many cases, and it's just a great community effort.
Again, City Council President Brian Gomes, on behalf of the entire City Council, we congratulate all those responsible for this 2015 half marathon. There's lots of work and lots of people that are involved. We commend them across the board, from our public safety officials to our DPI to the race organizers, that not for a minute's sleep after this race is over. They'll begin for 2016. Again, congratulations to all.
All alone, just have to finish up the race at this point. He's got the wind to his face and one last hill, and then he's got a moment of glory ahead of him.
Henry Dion continues to lead by a substantial margin.
Checks her watch.
101.30.
11th mile.
Yep, so she passes 11 miles in 101.30. 101.30, so just over 2 miles to go here. 101.30. Just about to make our turn on a county street now.
First move in there. Same thing in the men's as Morse leads Serafini. Should be finishing up.
He's led for about the last 4 miles or so, Mike. Very strong. Coming on after the initial leader, Louis Serafini, had some difficulties, probably right around the 9-10 mile mark, and Morse has continued to push the pace right around a 5-minute pace, as you mentioned, throughout the race.
Yes, he's still all alone at this point. He's got the win wrapped up. Just needs to keep pushing all the way in and not, you know, not get injured, not let anything bad happen.
So her teammates out in front of her. Hilary Dion continuing to lead.
Yep.
With her teammates Kevin O'Neill, Brad Nish.
Well, Nish she's been hooked on Nish for a while now.
Yeah, Brad's taller. Brad's almost 6'2", yep. So definitely helps to have someone running behind like that, and she knows that. Especially going into the wind a little bit here.
Sam Morse of the Syracuse Track Club will be the winner today. Let's go to the finish line. Pete Braley for the call.
And the crowd is now here. Stage announcer is announcing the winner. The winner of the 2015 New Bedford Half Marathon. This is Sam Morse. Congratulations to Sam as he crosses the finish line, number 1861. Eric Narcissi, what do you think of Sam's pace?
It was pretty impressive, running in this wind that has been steadily picking up. He must have had a very stiff headwind the last couple of miles, especially going up that hill at the end. He broke it open and he held on. I got him at about 66.09.
And here we got Matt Pelletier and Brian Doyle. Pelletier, not much of a speed guy. Doyle's ran just right around 4:05 for the mile before. And I imagine this kick battle
Pelletier
definitely looks like
leading Doyle as they head toward the finish line.
We have our second and third place runners, and we've got a bit of a sprint going on here. Second and thirds, close finish for second and third place. Brian Doyle of Swansea coming in second.
And here we have in fourth, Eric McKnight, former Keene State athlete. And this is going to be a huge race for him. I think last year he was around 69 or 70 minutes when he did this.
He'll finish in fourth.
And here we go, Louis Serafini falling back to fifth. I mean, he tried his best.
A highly successful race today for Serafini.
To try to grab our first New Bedford winner, who should be coming across in a few minutes. This is a world-class race that draws from the top runners around the globe. It's been voted the top half marathon in all of New England. Mr. Serafini coming across here. He had gotten out to an early lead, but this course is challenging, and strategies have to change as the race goes on.
See the stride of the athletes now going up this county. Yep. This county, she really going to their arms. You can see the strides like shortening up their legs, but she still looks good. She's really going to her arms at this point.
Yep, she has. She started to pull a little bit, and then she tucked back in on the niche.
Back in.
Yep.
You know, she has a big lead, stay comfortable. We expected her to kind of take it out from the beginning, which she did, and she's going to win this race by
easy. The action from the ladies' truck. There she is in your picture, 23-26. Just about to win her. Is this her second win?
This will be her second win. In 2012. She tried to on the males though about wanting to not get beat by the first female.
Right.
So you'll see coming down the hill. She's sitting in about 6 males.
11:40.
Past the 112 mark.
As we take the turn down the hill.
This is such a good feeling.
Yeah, it is. Knowing it. Yep.
You can see the males start to take off.
Oh, yeah.
The males are going down the hill now. See these males start to pull away a little bit.
The half marathon.
I think she's going to need to buy Brad a beer or something, huh? To help him
Possible.
out in this race. That's a big help, though. That really does mean a lot.
Absolutely.
You really can have someone help you out that much.
Yeah, let's give Kevin a lot of credit too, because he was with me most of the time too. So that was nice to see as well. I think they know right now it's, hey, you got this, you know what you're doing. Finish up strong and take it home. So Hillary Dion, 23:26 on her jersey.
1:13:08. Yep. So she's gonna be around 1:13:40. 1:13:42. Looks like that's going to be about 1:13:08.
Coming in.
Let's kick it in.
Right now, 1:13:20. Yep. We're trying to get an official time for you as we'll watch. Let's see if Jim can pick it up as she crosses that line.
And we're still at the finish line. We have our first female winner coming in. She is Hillary Dion. Here she comes. Looks a little labored, but she's here. The first female winner, Hillary Dion. She's with the Boston Athletic Association, and it's the second time she has won New Bedford. Hillary Dion.
Yes, that is the second female.
What do you got?
I can't see who that is.
26:46 is the number. That'll be our second place. Here comes third, Jim right here. 668. Like a Penn State runner.
Joe Cabral and Mike Gibberti wrapping up the men's side of the 38th annual New Bedford Half Marathon. Mike, it was an eventful race early on. It looked like Louis Zarafini. And then out of nowhere came Sam Morse out of the Syracuse Track Club. He led it over the last 4 to 5 miles. He finished in outstanding time here today, about 66 minutes flat, somewhere around there.
Right around there. Yeah, about the pace we were expecting. He was hands down the strongest guy in the field. Very, very even splits until the course got really difficult, and then that gets tough to control. But he locked up the win real nice. And then the battle for second was just absolutely unbelievable. Turns out that Brian Doyle ended up taking Matt Pelletier out in a kick in probably somewhere around 67 low or so to win the Club New England title.
And that's very important. You mentioned that though Sam Morse is the winner of the race, he doesn't earn the New England championship because he's not part of the region.
Yes, but he will be credited with the overall win. It's just the Club New England Championship only for athletes in the New England region, as I mentioned. New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, you have to hold a USATF membership. Connecticut and Maine have their own regions, so they don't count as part of New England. Although a lot of Maine runners from the club, specifically one club, Dirigo, will come down and run this series just for more competition.
To wrap up the men's top 5, it was Sam Morse out of the Syracuse Track Club winning it in an unofficial time of 66 minutes, 6 seconds. He was followed by Brian Doyle, then Matt Pelletier. Eric McKnight was a surprise in 4th.
Yes, he must have made some late surge that we did not see. He was, he's ran this race a couple of times, but this was a big one for him because he's in the past years been way back in the field, like, barely in the top 10, and here he is with his 4th place finish.
And then Louis Serafini finishing in 5th. Louis, of course, out of Boston College. So a great race, and just a wonderful job here by the city to make this race come off after such an extremely difficult winter. And today, things went smoothly, especially so for Sam Morse.
Most definitely. Hope you guys enjoyed the race. It was definitely a good one up front for the men.
Let's check in with what happened on the women's side with Chris Santos.
The lady Hillary Dion, winner, Jim, and pretty much start from finish, not much competition. Probably what you thought, and I don't know if everyone else did, but she is our winner for the women here this afternoon.
Yeah, I think she really was the benefit of having some teammates to run with, but as expected, we expected her to go out and run a good time, and certainly, she ran almost a minute faster than she did last year. So I think she'll be very satisfied leading into the Boston Marathon. Today, Hillary Dion, the women's winner, in 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 58 seconds, which is a very solid time on this course.
She ran a 5:40 average that we thought, and we were keeping the time, and Jim was right on it, and probably what she expected and what you expected, and I'll tell you, she looked great throughout this whole race.
Yeah, she looked very comfortable. You can obviously, she's been doing the training, and the experience that she's built over the last couple of years, she's gradually improved, so she did a fabulous job executing her race plan today.
Well, that's it from the women's truck. Chris Santos and Jim, Dan Doyle, thank you very much for joining us here on the truck, and we're going to go back to the start-finish line with Pete Braley and Dan Cabral.
this is one of the funner parts of my job. I get to congratulate people who've been in the arena, as they say. This was another great race, and it was particularly poignant that we were able to hold the race despite the weather difficulties we've had over the last few weeks. And there were several, as I mentioned outside. There are many communities in Massachusetts and beyond that canceled their races in recent weeks because of inclement weather or the damage the weather left behind, potholes and ice and other obstacles. And we resolved here in New Bedford that that was going to happen to us, that we were going to go forward with this, short of another blizzard or a tsunami or something that we didn't anticipate. So I just want to thank up front everybody that pitched in. We had a great turnout with volunteers led by the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick, the President Tim Murray, Secretary Chris Donnelly, the race organizer Dan McCarthy. Great job, and the volunteer core is a big part of this race. It's really an instrument through which the community comes together around this race. I know the crowds were out there having fun and supporting the runners, again, despite the less than optimal weather conditions. So, our city crews worked very hard. It really just bears emphasizing how much these guys did over the last few weeks. As the snow melted and laid bare some problems that have dollar signs around them, lots of big potholes and other issues, cracks in the roads, heaves and whatnot, things that make mayors stay up at night. They worked very, very hard every single day through weekends the last few weeks to fill it all up and get it ready. So, great job as always. We're very proud of what this race means to New Bedford and the opportunity it presents to New Bedford to showcase all the great things that are going on and the progress that we are making as a city. This is the time when I get to congratulate athletic excellence, runners who've come here, some folks who are frequent flyers like Hillary and Matt, who lay it all out there, who set a great example for everybody, especially our kids, that to achieve great, to strive greatly, you've got to work hard and lay it all out. This is no exception. We're lucky in the city to have an opportunity to put on an athletic competition that really attracts excellence and has and excellent runners and makes it really competitive. So, with all that, I'm going to, as I think is appropriate, start with the third place female finisher. I just want to congratulate all the runners today. A little over 3,000 people today. Everybody who finished and even tried, you deserve tremendous credit. We have 6 winners today that we're going to announce, the first 3 male finishers and the first 3 female finishers. So let me begin with the third place female finisher, who is Lauren Philbrook of Hopkinton, Massachusetts, where they start the Boston Marathon, who came in at a time of 1 hour and 15 minutes and 58 seconds. Great time. Lauren. Congratulations. Very well done. Very well done. Now we have some lovely parting gifts where's the medal, Chris? We have
the medal's going to be mailed to the.
Oh, okay. Okay.
To get the silver medal, the bronze medal mailed to you.
Oh, good. Oh, good. And we have. You want to give me? Well, we'll reserve those Port of New Bedford hats for our winners, but we have. I know some of our past winners wear those around proudly, and they get to have those. But Lauren, great job. Very well done. Congratulations. Hope to have you back next year.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
In second place, with a time of 1 hour and 15 minutes and 50 seconds, was Laura Hagley of Lebanon, New Hampshire. Laura. Very well done. Awesome. And without there's less drama here because she's been up here before. And it's great to see her back. But in first place, someone we're very familiar with is Hillary Dion of Charlestown, Massachusetts. 1 hour and 14 minutes and 1 second. This year's women's champion in the New Bedford Half Marathon. Hillary. Out there at the start, I said, "Oh, Hillary's back." Okay. Great job. Great job. Congratulations. Job really well done. All right. Now let's turn to the guys. So this year's third place finisher is also no stranger to New Bedford, having come in first place before, and this year he came in third, a very close, very close third. I was up in my office looking down on it, and it was close to a photo finish, or second and third place. And that is with a time of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 10 seconds, Matt Pelletier. Matt. All right, you heard it here. You heard it here.
I did.
And in second place, and again, this was, you know, if you run for a full hour, not that I would know this personally, but to run for a full hour and then it comes right down to the end with a sprint, it's very exciting, and it's really these things can be that close, and this was no exception. So just edging out Matt for second place was somebody from southeastern Massachusetts, and that is Brian Doyle, who came in just a smidgen above, less than a second before Matt. 1 hour, 7 minutes, 10 seconds. Brian. All right, and then, of course, is the winner of the race with a time of 1 hour and 6 minutes and 9 seconds. This is one hell of a performance, and he's to be commended on really making it an exciting race, but a great time, great finish, great performance all around. Sam Morris of Camden, New Jersey. Sam. Camden, New York. Camden, New York. Sorry.